Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. Hey, y'all. Why are there 12 people waiting? Oh my gosh. Hi, y'all. Okay, I am running a little bit behind today, so give me 2 seconds to get my life together. Let me know where you are watching from. I cannot wait to chat with you all today. Welcome back to Community Time. Okay, let me get my life. Let me get my life. Getting my life, getting my life. How is your new year going so far? How are we feeling about the new year? Give me all the tea. What's going on in your life? Share your community updates in the chat. That way we can be your community cheerleaders. Let me know about your holiday season. I cannot wait to get into it with you all. Okay, first things first. Hey, y'all. Welcome. Happy New Year. Welcome back to Community Time. If you guys have been keeping up with the vlogs and Community Time in general, you know that last week was our first week. And I don't know how many times we've been in a row, but it was the first time we took a break and it was our holiday break. But we had a really good time before the holiday break doing like our holiday community time. So I'm super excited and renewed and refreshed to be back and talking with you all today. Welcome to the Beauty and Brains Community Time, a weekly live interactive YouTube show where like-minded professional school students and young adults can congregate, network, exchange advice, and take a break away from our studies, our busy lives for community, connection, peer mentorship, and encouragement. I'm going to start off with our verse of the day and then, well, first our prayer, then our verse of the day, and just kind of my thoughts with that. But in the meantime, like I said, definitely, first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so excited to talk to you all. And let me know where you are listening from, what's going on in your life, how was your holidays, how you're feeling about the New Year's resolutions. Like, I want all of the tea. We're letting the tea steep a little bit and we'll get into what it is and all the things. But first things first, the community time prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here today on this platform of the Beauty and Brains Community Time, we come before you with gratitude and open hearts. We recognize the power of community connection and the exchange of wisdom, and we seek your guidance and blessings for this gathering. We thank you for bringing us together and ask that you may grant us the wisdom to be kind and compassionate mentors to one another, to uplift and support our fellow community members in their pursuits, and to celebrate their successes as if they were our own. In times of doubt or uncertainty, may the Beauty and Brains Community Time be a place of solace and encouragement, a reminder that we are not alone in our journeys. We ask for your protection over this community, both online and offline, and may it thrive, grow, and make a positive impact on the lives of all who participate. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, let me go ahead and share my verse of the day. And I would love to hear what verse you guys are using for either this week, this day, this month. Give us today our daily bread, honestly. So what's been your verse of the day today? Did you guys do a devotional today? And you were like, you know what? This is really speaking to me. Mine actually is an oldie, but a goodie. So I was actually listening to Stephen Furtick's one of his sermons. I think it was like his Christmas sermon, or it was one before Christmas because Holly Furtick did Christmas. Anyway, and one of my favorite verses used to be Psalms 23. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I should feel no evil. That used to be my jam. I still love the verse, but I grew to love some other verses a little bit more as I went through like just adversity in life and just hearing how different verses would just speak to how adversity builds faith and becoming perfect in God. And I've kind of mentioned this before on podcasts as well as here in Community Time. But the way that he preached this, it reminded me is why I love this verse so much. And I also saw it from a different perspective, which I think is so powerful because, you know, I'm getting to the point now, and we talk about this a little bit later in regards to kind of like our New Year's resolutions, the things that we're going to like, you know, try and do in this new year or whatever. But I mean, I'm officially a woman of God. Like, what? You wake up and all of a sudden you're just like a whole woman. Isn't that so weird? I remember saying that I first felt like a woman when I literally walked underneath the arch for Spelman. That's when you go from being a Spelmanite to a Spelman woman. And I remember being like, I actually do feel like a woman. I'm literally days away from my college graduation. I am, 21 years old. Like, I'm not even considered like, you're a young lady, but like you are like a woman now. But now at 27, geez Louise, it's like, no, 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 you are a woman. And I always talk about how my journey with Christ, my spiritual journey has really just continued to grow and flourish. And I'm very blessed to say that my testimony is that I don't have a testimony. And I'm stealing these words from my Spelman sister, Shelly, because she made an amazing like reel about this as to how like sometimes you hear people and they go through some things and it's like, oh, like what's been your story? And oh, God saved me from this. And I had this, or I fell off and then I came back. But it's like, I've been a child of God. My grandmother was a praying grandmother. I loved my granny. She introduced me to Christ at a very young age. And my parents did, the bare minimum of what they needed to do to where I was very familiar with Christ. I can't remember a life without knowing him, believing in him, trusting in him, and loving him. And so that really has just grown throughout the years from just being like, oh, I'm a child of God, like to being like a woman of God. And I'm really just feeling that for myself in this next year where it's beyond just like, oh, of course, like I know God and I love God, but it's like, no, I trust him. I know him for myself. I know his word inside and out, and not just like the, basic Bible stories that children know, but stories that really resonate with me because I'm a woman of God who has walked with God for many, many seasons of my life. And so, I don't know why I decided to go on that tangent, but let's get into the verse of the day, right? So the verse of the day is Psalms 23, 1-5. And I'm actually reading this from the ESV version, which I don't normally do, but I know this one in King James version, okay? Again, child of God. Like I grew up like memorizing Bible verses in the new King James version or King James version. But anyway, if you're not familiar with this verse, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yay. No, it doesn't say yay. This is the Okay. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. And so in this sermon, Stephen Furtick, Pastor Stephen, was talking about the adversity we go through and how they are advertisements for the future that God has promised us. And that makes me very excited, especially as a person who is consistently or has been in a very elongated waiting season. And although there are little hills, I definitely am not at like the top of a mountain by far. Life is great right now, but there's still so much that I believe that God has promised me that I have yet to see. And sometimes being in these waiting seasons can feel like a lot of adversity because if you're not doing what you want to do, especially if it's not what you feel like you're called to do or what you're destined to do or what you're put on this earth to do, everything feels like adversity when in reality, this is all just advertisement for the future that God has promised us. And he talked about how for there to be a valley, right? So the scripture says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. So being, first of all, it's so many things in here. It's the valley, it's shadow, it's death. So starting from death, like it being so close to it seemed like there's nothing, there's no life, there's no hope. That's like what death represents. But here we are in the valley of it. So for there to be a valley, that means that there has to be two mountains. These are not my words. I'm just sharing with you all a sermon that really resonated with me. Two valleys, or one valley, which means that there are two mountains, right? So you have a mountain, a valley, a mountain. So if you're in a valley, that means the mountain that you just came from was the last thing that God did for you. I'm gonna stop right there because I know that slapped me in the face when I listened to that this morning because I'm just like, sometimes I can forget all the things that God has already done for me because I'm so focused on what I still want for him to do for me, what I still want for him to accomplish for me, how I still want for him to bless me. And a big part of your testimony is going to be remembering what he's already done, like that really helps your faith. And like he's done it before, he can do it again. There's been plenty of times where I thought this or I thought that, and things have always worked out. So it's like, why would it not work out this time? That's the first thing. And then also, because there's a valley, and so there's two mountains, that means A, the mountain that you just came from means that God did it before. And two, the mountain that he's taking you to means that that is your next testimony and your next level of effectiveness. So the valley is advertising for the next mountain. If you're in a valley right now, I just want to encourage you. I wouldn't even say that I'm in a valley. Like it could be seen as one, but I definitely feel myself like up the mountain, not there yet, but like definitely not in the valley, but I've been in the valley before. And I know like what that feels like. And I definitely feel like in the beginning of the year, you can either have one or two perspectives. Like either you're at a mountaintop, you're in a high and you're like, woo, like I'm ready to continue this on. But like the thing about mountains is that then they go down and then you end up getting to a valley. But when you're in the valley, you have to remember where you just were and then, get ready for the next mountain. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this reminder, this fresh perspective on this scripture. And even they talked about, so I mentioned death, I mentioned valley, and then also the shadow. I really like what he said about this, how the shadow is advertising that there's something big, right? So when you think about, I want to say this in a quick way because this is not preacher Breland's sermon, but when there's a shadow, that means that there's something big that is being blocked by the sun. This is so good. Preachers are so smart, right? Son of God, Jesus, God, the Son. So it's letting you know that you are exactly where you're supposed to be because the shadow only exists when an object is blocking its path. So like if you see a shadow in front of you, that means that you are directly in line with the sun. That is so good to me. That is just like, wow. Okay. So every obstacle or shadow lets you know like you are in the grace of God and you are in line with God. So again, I didn't make this up, but it just really like, wow. I've always used this verse. It was like in my Instagram bio for years and I've never looked at it. I've always looked at, death in the valley. I get that, but like the shadow as well. Like you're in the shadow of God, which means that you are in line with him because he is the sun and just all the things, just so amazing. So I'm gonna wrap this up. This is getting kind of long, but the point is that the thing that you're going through is pointing to what you're going to be overflowing with, because the last thing for this verse is that it says, my cup overflows. So I just, again, think about all of the things that I'm going through. And I mentioned this even in my past couple of vlogs about like, whether it be the adversities that I face at Spelman, being a first generation college student, being the first person in my family to pursue higher education, to be the first person in my family to become a doctor, to be the first person in my family to, or even just be like all these things, all these adversities that I face, all the things that I feel like are obstacles are just pointing me in the direction that I'm going to be overflowing with. So I'm going to be overflowing with compassion and empathy for people, with knowledge, with the experience in order to tell people. Like it's really hard to give people advice if you haven't been through it or going through it or on the other side. So yeah, I just feel very renewed and refreshed and excited for the new year because I have a good feeling about 2024. And so that is my word and my verse of the day. Thank you for coming to my sermon TED Talk. But yeah, I loved that sermon. I thought it was such an eye-opening perspective, like I said, on that verse. So now that we have finished that, welcome to community time. I would love to hear your community updates. How was your holiday season? Before we talked, it wasn't even Christmas yet. So how was your Christmas? How was your New Year? Did you go to watch night service? Do you guys have Christmas? Did you guys have church service on Christmas? Did you guys hang out with your family? Did you go out of town like me? I'm going to save the details because I haven't actually edited the cruise vlog yet. You guys know I went on a cruise with my family, which I will just tell you that it went well. I enjoyed myself. If you guys have been following me on Instagram, you saw my pictures. We were supposed to go to the Bahamas. I'm gonna let you guys watch the vlog to see what happened there. And then we went to the US Virgin Island, St. Thomas, and then we took a ferry to St. John. Best beach ever. The best beach I've ever been to in my entire life. And then we went to Tortola, and then we took a ferry to the Virgin Gorda, and we did the baths, and then we went to the Dominican Republic. And that was my first time either in the US Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands, and the DR. So I'm really excited to go back, at least to the DR, but overall, you'll see the experience on Sunday when the vlog goes up. So if you're here and you're not already subscribed, that'd be weird. Like, definitely make sure you're subscribing. While we're at it, give this video a thumbs up the video. Why don't you go ahead and send it to a friend? That way we could all chat and hang out together. And if you enjoy these community times, like, please do share them. It will help my channel grow, and we can just expand our community. But yeah, and if you're watching this afterwards, shout out to all my replay watchers. Leave a comment letting me know that you're watching on the replay. I love to read those comments as well. But yeah, the Christmas was one of my best Christmases as like an adult or like a young adult. It was really, really great. So I can't wait for you guys to see that vlog. Again, I haven't edited it yet, but it'll be up on Sunday. So I'm pretty sure that you guys are going to see it. I didn't do like a great job of vlogging because it was hard, like cruise, family, vacation. It's kind of always difficult when you're not in your routine and at home. And also I know that travel vlogs never do as good as like people just being at home. Comment down below, you guys kind of person where you like to watch people when they're at home, like in their routine versus like when they're out and about. You're like, girl, I don't want to see you in Canada. I want to see you in Washington, D.C., in that apartment every day. Like, I feel that way sometimes when I'm watching travel vlogs, especially if it's not a place that I've been like aspiring to travel to. I normally won't click on the video, even if I really like the creator. I don't know what that is, but I know that I do it. So I'm kind of like not nervous, but I'm like, I anticipate that people won't want to watch that video as much as the other ones. So hopefully the community will come through and show the support when that goes well. But yeah, overall, just really happy that my Christmas went well, the trip went well, traveling mercies, all those things. The other community update for my personal self that I have is that, well, first of all, let's talk about this book that I finished. I actually didn't do the book review in the vlog like I wanted to because I finished it and then like whatever. I just didn't end up doing the book review. And I said, I'm just going to do it in community time because I could probably talk about this book for like 30 minutes. I will not. I will refrain myself. Now, I finished this a couple of days before the year is over. So I want to say it's very hard for me to know, not to know. I can't decide if this is my favorite book that I read of the year. I think The Hate You Give is still the top book that I read. By the way, so this is Black Girls Must Have It All. It's by Jane Allen. This is the trilogy finale of the book series Black Girls Must Be Magic. So the first book was Black Girls Must Be Magic, and the second book was Black Girls Must Die Exhausted. So I read the first book in like 2022, actually, in 2022. So it was only at this point 2 years ago, but it was in the summer of 2022. And this was the time, I talked about this in a vlog, where I was reading like one book a year because I was like in school and I was working and things. And so I read the book. I liked it. I really, really liked it. And then I went on to read other books, and as I got back into my reading groove, and then I also started listening to my books on Audible, I only listened to Black Girls Must Die Exhausted. I didn't have the physical copy of it. I'm not sure if that's what made this book so much better, is that I had both the audio and the physical book for this one. So the first book I only read. The second book I only listened to. The third book I read and I listened to. But this was definitely the best book of the series. This book is so good and real for us. It's a book by a Black woman for Black women. I think it's really inspiring because Jane Allen is not her real name. Her real name is Jonique Seeley, okay, period. She graduated from Duke University as well as Harvard Law School. So she's a lawyer, but like she's also a whole author, which is just so cool and amazing. And she claims that this like series is I never know how to pronounce this word, epitaph. I don't know how to pronounce the word, but the stories of her 30s. And I don't know if I don't it's not like her personal story, but as a person who I'm 27, right? So I'm not even in my 30s yet, but I see it. I see it coming. And I feel like I just feel so seen. And I'm not even in my 30s yet, but I just feel like these are just all the things that Black women deal with, especially like in their 30s. Like it's a very like yes. Oh, I'm not doing a good job of explaining this book. Okay, so and it's hard to because with this being the third book, if I tell you all the things that go on, it'll kind of like ruin the big plots of the other books. Like they're kind of like all spoilers, but I will just say that between balancing motherhood, wanting to be in a relationship, love, familial, drama, like learning who you are and how that impacts your career stuff, like wanting to both be a career woman and a family woman, and like making those early career sacrifices or early familiar sacrifices or relational sacrifices in order to like have it all. Like how can Black women have it all? Because we're either, working so hard in this area that this area lacks or this and that. And it is just like, it was just so real. Like I feel like that's literally the core of what Beauty and Brains is. Like, how can I show that Black women can have it all? I can be beauty and brains. I can enjoy my life. I can have fun. I can, spend time with my family. I can cook. I can be in love. I can host. I can do all these things and also be an educated woman. It's another thing that I've always also been more conscious of on my Instagram because I posted probably the least I've ever had on Instagram this past year of 2023, and not intentionally, but I guess just kind of because I was like, I just want to only post when I really enjoy the post, not just post to like be posting a lot. It wasn't my intention to grow on Instagram, but just for it to continuously show or be a great representation of who I am and where I am at this point in time. And where I am right now, I'm being Brelynn, right? So I want my Instagram to show this time of my life when I'm just being. And if that means I'm being cute on my way to church, if I'm being free on a vacation, if I'm being a 27-year-old traveling, Europe for whatever that means, like that's what I wanted to post. And so there were less posts, but I feel like it's definitely difficult for people who maybe followed me from the beginning of my Spelman journey or even like my graduate school journey, and they're kind of just like, oh, like where's the pre-med content, where's the non-traditional like inspirational stuff? Like this part of my life may not be inspirational to everybody or to most people if you don't know, if you're not like following along on like where I get more personal here on YouTube, and especially as the podcast took a break after July. But when you look at my Instagram or just my life in general, a few years from now, you're going to see that I was able to have it all because I took the time for myself when I felt like I needed it, when I deserved it, after years of working hard, and not because of years of working hard, but I feel like I deserved it because I'm alive. Like I'm alive, so I'm allowed to enjoy my life. I don't know why I'm like on this whole like rant right now, but that's just how I really feel. And so my social media is reflecting of that, even in my vlogs, where it's like, okay, they're not going to be super like medicine focused and things like that. It's just about being. And I'm happy. So my vlogs are happy. I'm, inspired. I'm in love with reading. So my vlogs reflect that and all those things. And I just feel like this book was such a great representation of everything that I have going on in my head and my heart, but like on paper and in words, just from like her wearing her natural hair to just everything. Like I feel like when I am about to have a baby, I will make my husband read this book. He doesn't have to read all of it, but even just this last one, in order to kind of understand what it means to be a woman and to have to make all these decisions and just want it all for yourself, but still feel like you are kind of fighting against the grain just because of society and just all the things. So I really like this book. I think that it may have been not slow, but like the last half of it was definitely like really, really good. But the first half, when you're in a trilogy, you have to kind of remind yourself of everything that happened and like how things are folding out. And it's like, okay, wop, yeah, I remember this, I remember this, I remember this, I remember this. And then it really didn't get to the middle of it where I'm like, okay, now that we have set the stage of everything, how is it all going to unfold? And then once you kind of knew kind of like the big issue of it, like how is it going to end, like what choice is she going to make, and it was a great story. So I really, 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 really like this book. I would give it like maybe a 4.7. Really like it, highly recommend it. And I would love to know what book you guys also feel like is just a really great book by a Black author that you thoroughly enjoy, that again make you feel seen and loved. Like I love The Hate You Give, but the thing about it is that it was, obviously it wasn't as dark as I kind of expected it to be, in the sense of like, yeah, it was based off of like her best friend was murdered and like police brutality and just the injustice of Black people, which can be dark topics, but it wasn't as dark. There was still a lot of like light, love, laughter, but I don't know. I like these books for completely different reasons. I just feel like this is just feeling seen. You know how people say like, there's the 5 love languages or whatever, and how one of them is like being validated, or another one that people are saying like this could be the 6th love language, like being seen or validated. And I feel like that could low key be my like another one of my love languages, because when I feel like I'm seen, I'm like, oh, like I feel like I'm being loved, which I think it can go into a lot of different ways. Because like if you buy me a gift because you saw something that I needed, or you see me in a certain way, that is a way that you see somebody. Anywho, I'm rambling like crazy today. I guess I really missed you guys and I wanted to talk to you all, but I really, really like this book. And I feel like even if you don't read the other ones in the series, you could possibly still pick up this book, because it really does give you the background of everything. And like the first couple of chapters, you could just read this one alone and like understand what's going on. Like you won't know the full background of the characters and stuff, but yeah, loved this book. And I was so determined to finish my next book before the year was over. I think I finished this on like the 29th or maybe the 28th. I think it was the 29th. And so I was like, I low-key got 3 days. I wonder if I could finish a book in 3 days. I wasn't able to finish it. But my next book that I have started is Love by Toni Morrison. I have like 2 hours left. I'm almost done. If I it's just because I decided to sleep on the plane halfway. If I would have pushed through, but let me tell you guys my review on this book so far. So I will give you guys my full review once the book is over on next week's community time, or maybe on the vlog, whichever one comes first. But this book was so easy to read, right? I started this book and I was on the cruise. And let me tell you guys, the biggest update really about the cruise for me is that I was not able to have internet access. I don't remember, because last time I went on a cruise, I was a child. Like I was maybe 14. I think I went when I was 13, maybe 15. So like early high school, middle school, like I was a young kid. So I don't even remember, like we didn't even have Instagram, like maybe Facebook, but I wasn't pressed to be on Facebook. Like I could go a week without Facebook, Now without internet, and I didn't realize how many apps use the internet. Like I couldn't edit my photos. I couldn't make like reels on CapCut. Like everything requires Wi-Fi, and you got 250 free minutes of Wi-Fi. And then everything after that, you had to pay. And there was like an unlimited package, but it was $200. I was like, that's giving obsessed. It's giving addicted. I think I can go a week without Wi-Fi, except for when I get off the island or get off the boat, go on the islands or whatever for a couple of hours. I'll have Wi-Fi. I can come back. Like, I can survive, which I did. But the one thing that I missed is that once I finished this book, I didn't download this book. So I started it without the audiobook, and I was struggling. I was like, this book is not deep, but this feels like a novel. This feels like adult reading, whereas this feels still like young adult, which I don't like. It's written by 30-year-olds, like kind of for 30-year-olds. That's not young adult. This is not meant for children. I get when I was reading Hunger Games, if I thought that was an easy read, but like I feel like my mind is being expanded as if like I'm like, oh, you were reading children's books and now this is like a real book. I feel like I went from like high school to college reading this book. Like, oh, Toni Morrison, you are an author. Like, first of all, my respect for her, because I'm like, how can you think so and write so fluently? And if you guys haven't read, first of all, has anybody read this book before? Love by Toni Morrison. I know everybody recommended I read the Tarst or The Bluest Eye and Tar Baby. I believe I have The Bluest Eye. I don't remember if I have Tar Baby or not. The reason why I decided to choose Love first is because 2023 was my year of love. So I thought it would be a good idea to end the year off reading this book. It's not really about, it is about love, but it's not really about love. It's a very interesting story, but I would say that it is just interestingly written because I didn't understand that one of the characters was the narrator, and I didn't understand that it was kind of like this mystery going on. I was even getting kind of confused with the race of the different characters because it's kind of written in older times and kind of going back and forth in time, and I don't know, I really struggled with understanding. Like, I actually had to go on Spark Notes. Okay, Victoria, thank you so much. I'm glad I'm not alone. Victoria says that Toni Morrison's work is not an easy read for me at all, but there's always so many gems. For sure. I was like, oh, I gotta be for like I was reading this book on 1.5 speed. So I just went ahead and read this book. Like I said, first I read it without the audiobook. And then I said, maybe I'm not understanding. Maybe I need to hear it in Toni's voice. Her voice helped. And then I was like, baby, I need to slow down. I need to get off of 1.5 speed and go to one, and now I'm at 1.25, but like I had to slow it down. I have to go back a lot because I was like, this is kind of like confusing. Like, I don't understand. I had to do Spark Notes for the characters to be like, who was that again? And who was married to who? And who's the son and daughter of who? And is this person supposed to be white or black? Because I'm pretty sure that makes a big difference. And I was like low key confused. But now I'm in it and I understand the basis of it, and I'm excited to see it unfold. So that's kind of like my Toni Morrison is bomb. I studied her in high school literature in sixth form. Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys like my hair like this. I actually like struggled for the last like 2 seconds before getting on because I had my hair in a bun and I thought, oh, since this has pearls, I should put on a pearl headband. And I was going to wear my hair for New Year's. I wore it like all the way down with just the 2 pieces in the front, and it was really cute. But then for some reason, it wasn't giving today. So I was like, oh, I need to do blah, blah, blah. So I'm glad you guys like it because I low key like stressed doing it. But yeah, I will let you guys know what I think about this book once I completely finish it. So far, I definitely like it, but it's, like I said, not an easy read. And especially coming from this book where I was like, I was going through this book so fast. And I loved this book. And let me see here. Sydney says that she would give the Black Girls Must series a 4 out of 5. I enjoy the author's writing. I just finished Yinka, Where Is Your Husband? Ooh, I'm curious to know, is that also by a Black author? Let me know what other books. Okay, so I also see that Simone asked me, did I read Sarah Jakes? So I read Sarah Jakes' Woman Evolve book, and I didn't like it. And I feel so bad saying that because I love Sarah Jakes Roberts. I love her, but Jakes Roberts, 2 S's. I had to think about that. I love her. And fun fact, like this live show is heavily inspired by her podcast. Back in the day, if you guys have been following Sarah Jakes for a while, she used to do her podcast live, and it would be just like this, where she would she would be talking, but in her podcast mic, and she would come on every Monday and do like a live podcast, and she would have different segments. And I loved it so much. I really feel like I grew to like, and it wasn't always like super churchy. Like, yes, sometimes she would have ministering moments because she's a pastor and a woman of God, but like she would just be talking about things that was going on. And I thought that I just really connected with her, and I grew to love her and connect with her as a person. That way, when I did watch her sermons, or even if I don't watch her sermons, which I don't normally click on her sermons often unless like I see a clip on Instagram or TikTok and it really makes me want to watch it, or I just see, like, I subscribe to her, but she's not one of the people who I watch frequently, even though I do like her preaching. I don't always follow with her preaching style, but I like her as a person. I do believe that she's called by God and all those things. So, just fun fact, this is heavily inspired by her. I do really love Sarah Jakes. I say that to say that I read her Woman Involved book, and that one may have been helpful if I was reading an audiobook, because I'm sure I would have loved hearing it from her perspective. And also, like I mentioned, I was reading that book while I was in school, and I was also doing like devotionals. And so that's when I say, like, I was kind of taking a break on reading like educational self-help or like religion books as my downtime books, because it's very hard to like read a book for 30 minutes after doing a devotional for 30 minutes. And it just felt like a very long devotional, which is good, but like also sometimes you want, like, it wasn't fun enough. I thought that her would be more fun because she's a fun girl. And even though her writing was fun, I don't know, I just didn't love it. I would definitely give her another chance and read another book. But yeah, that's the last book that's the only book I read by. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm just reading your comment here. Destiny said the pics were fire. You look so good. I think you're talking about when I was in on vacation. Thank you so much. But yeah, so that's how I feel about Sarah Jakes. Oh, you have this book on your shelf. It's next on your list. Trudy, is this the book that have you already read the first two, or is the whole series on your shelf? Um, if I'm interested in dark books, Monday's Not Coming literally made me ugly cry. Oh, you know what? We actually had that book for not sale, but at my the event that we had at my job, where we were giving away books by Black. That's actually where I got this book from, where we were giving away books by Black authors that were either banned, mainly banned books, but also just books by authors. That was one, but we only had a couple of copies. So very interested to hear more about that book. I feel like my 30s have been realizing life doesn't have to be perfect. I define what it all means, and what I have is more than enough. Amen. I love that. That's definitely like what we should all be doing. It all is very dependent on each individual person. Like for me, I'm the type of person where, like, some people don't aspire marriage, and that's kind of like the basis, not the basis, but like one of the subplots for this book is like she thought that she wanted it, and then she decided like maybe I don't. But like, this is what I've been told that I should want. This is what I've been dreaming of my whole life. But now that it's presented to me, it's like, maybe I don't actually want this. And is that okay? Like, do I want to do this thing called life alone? Do I want whatever? So it's like, for me, I want to be married at this point in time in my life. I want to have a husband. I want to have a child. I want to have a career. I want to have a social life. I want to have family. I want to be like all these things that I want for myself. um Sometimes society can make you feel like you can't have all those things, especially as a Black woman. And whatever you want for yourself, those are the things that you are fighting against to prove that you can have it all. But you don't have to want everything that everybody else wants if that's not what you want for yourself. I was like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a wife, I want to be this, but I don't want to be a mother. That's my prerogative. So that's what I say when I say Black women can have it all. It's, you can have it all, everything that you want. All is very depending on what you want. So yeah. Let's see. The Emergency is a cool book written by a Black doc in Chicago. It's about the pandemic and equity in class. Really enjoyed. Thank you for that recommendation. I feel like I actually have seen that. The Emergency. What did you say? Oh, you just said Black doc. Let's see. Emergency book, Black doctor. A Year of Healing. Chicago's Doctor New book. Okay. This isn't the book that I thought it was. There's another one that I wanted, or another book that I had. So I'm really smelling my tea right now, which I'm kind of nervous about. I tried a new combo, so I was trying to decide if I liked it or not. I've already read the first two in the Black Girls Must Read series last year. I think I didn't even know the third one was out until 2 weeks ago. Oh, well, girl, it's out. And I like it. If you liked the first one, you'll definitely like the third one. Like I think I really like this one. It could just be because of who I am, my personality. It could just be where I am in life, but I just feel like she wrote everything I feel on the inside and she was able to put it on paper. And that's what, to me, being an author is all about. Like that is art. That is writing. By the way, this is the mug of the day. This was actually the mug that we used for our first CommuniTEA time. And I thought that it would be fitting to use it again for the first CommuniTEA time of 2023. I don't know if we've repeated a mug yet. I think we did Grinch twice, but I thought it would be a good mug to repeat today. Okay, and speaking of the tea, go ahead and share your CommuniTEA updates in the chat if you have any, about your holiday seasons, life, all the things. Is everybody still on break? Did you go back to work? I will say that I technically started work yesterday, and then my boss didn't give me any updates for my capstone draft, which, first of all, let's just thank you, Jesus, I got it all done. You guys, if you've seen the vlogs, you guys know I was fighting for my life to get my capstone draft done. It took me forever, ever to finish it. Like, I don't know why that draft was like the hardest draft. I don't even think it's good, but I at least got it done. And I'm like, we'll just work on it from here. And then I got all the vlogs up and I was able to enjoy my vacation. And yeah, I just, I was really pushing myself. I really felt like it was my finals week, but I made it all through. Anyway, the tea of today, you guys know I've been actually loving these. I feel like I've had these for the past couple of CommuniTEA times, is the Yogi Elderberry Lemon Balm Immune and Stress. And the reason why I am using this one today is actually for the immune part of it, because so I haven't gotten any feedback on Tuesday, and I was like, okay, like Tuesday I was supposed to go back to work. And then today I was like, well, first of all, what's today? Today is Wednesday? Okay, I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, what happened? So on Monday was New Year's Eve. I went to watch night service. And then on New Year's Day, I lazied around the house and I went to the movies. And then yesterday, I woke up and I had body aches and joint pain. And I was like, I've got COVID. Like, I've got COVID. And I think because there were so many people coughing on the cruise, which was so, put on a mask, old people, that I was like very afraid. Like, and I don't know what it is. I'm not a very, excuse me, I don't have a lot of health anxiety, but I don't know. I think I talked about this in a vlog, maybe. Or maybe I just talked about it to my friend. So we'll just have this be a moment here. Maybe I'll talk about it on a future podcast. But there's this thing. So, okay, let me back up. There is a Miss USA named Deshauna Barber. I believe she was Miss USA 2017. And I love her because she is, first of all, she was Miss DC USA. And she also was one of the first Miss USAs who I like followed from literally like competing for a state pageant up into her winning nationals, and then like her going to Miss Universe. And then like I've been following her ever since. I'm a really big fan of Deshauna. I think that she's an amazing Black woman. Love her. She started a podcast, so I listen to it very frequently. And she had this one podcast and she was talking about what did she call it? Let me look it up. Oh, wait, this is so sweet. Oh, okay, wait, pause. Remind me to go back to Deshauna. So I was looking up what Deshauna called this thing, which I think it's the streams of happiness, right? But before I do that, so I was looking at it because I wrote it down in my notes section. So I typed in happiness and I see this note that I wrote in December 31st, on December 31st of 2016 at 5:18 a.m. So I'm like, oh, like what is this about? I'm like, should I read it out loud? I think that I should do this every year. I said, this is what I say. I'm going to read it to you guys, right? 2017 will be a year of positivity and happiness, a year of love and growth. I will focus more on impacting and inspiring than titles and accomplishments. In 2017, I will work to remember my purpose by releasing the self created pressure of perfection. Oh, dear Lord. I was talking about this in 2017. Dear future Brelynn, you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Walk the path of God's plan and don't harp on anything negative along the way. If everything is dipped in gold, then it would never grow. Everything ain't sugar coated, but the life that you've been given is yours to make the most of. Remember how you want to make people feel. And if you keep God at the center of your intentions, his blessings will align with yours and create the platform for you to spread love. Stay true to yourself and don't get discouraged. I love you and the person you have the potential to become in due time. With love, 2016 Brelynn. God is all up and through this community time today because I have never gone back and looked at this note. I didn't know what I was going to say. And the fact that I went off on this tangent and was like, let me just type in happiness. And I was like, 2017 will be the year of positivity and happiness. What was I talking about? Wow. I will not cry. Wow, that is absolutely beautiful. And I should really do that for myself every year. So I am going to um write that tonight. I'm going to write a letter to my 2025 self at the beginning of 2024. I think that we should all do that. I think it would be really, really fun. We're going to talk more about kind of our New Year's resolutions and things. I think this is another community time where we're just vibing and we're not going with the topics, but it's okay. Okay, going back to Deshauna Barber. So she created this podcast where she talked about, you know how they have like streams of income, right? And people are saying how you should have multiple streams of income. She kind of played on those words. And I don't know if she created this or she heard somebody else say it, but she did a whole podcast about her streams of happiness and how, like, just as a person, everybody has different streams of happiness that are specific to them. And how if like when you know what they are, not only for yourself, but also people who are close to you, it just helps you understand yourself and other people better. So I thought about kind of what my streams of happiness are, and I wrote them down. And mine's were health is number one. Health is my biggest stream of happiness. And maybe I'll save the rest actually for a later podcast date or something else, because I really think this is like an interesting thing to dive deep into. And I would love to hear what you guys think yours are. So for example, I'll give you an example of some of hers. I know she said like traveling was one of hers, and like how during the pandemic, she got so depressed and like just didn't feel like herself because she wasn't able to travel. She really feels renewed when she's able to like leave the country and try new things and just like relax. And that's when she really just feels the most at peace, and it just genuinely fills her bucket and it makes her happy when she's not traveling, or when she doesn't have a trip planned, like, or when she doesn't know if there's the next time she's going to travel, like it really decreases her happiness. So I think I talked about this before. Let me know if I have. I know I've talked to a lot of people about it because it just was one of those things, which I hope I have sometimes, like just life-changing podcasts that you end up just talking to everybody about. Like, I listen to this podcast and da 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 da. And now, like, this is what I'm thinking. So with her, with that podcast, I thought about like, what are my five streams of happiness? And one of the ones, like I said, my top one is health. And you guys know, like, of course, I've been in the gym. I'm a gym girly now, but it's more than just like I put so like my happiness is deeply invested in my health. And that is like physically, mentally, emotionally, all the things. When I leave the gym, that's why when I say like endorphins, like make you like I feel so happy when I'm like, wow, my body is healthy. And even when like I have my hair out and I'm like, oh, like inches, like my hair is growing, my hair is healthy. It makes me so happy. Even to the point where I can speak like to the other side, where whenever there's any type of like health scare, it deeply impacts my mood. And I think this is like so important for people to know because I don't have health anxiety, but when there are things that are negative or less than positive going on with my health, they're like super big to me because health is my main stream of happiness. Like I have so much gratitude for health. It's something that like I never take for granted my health. I never take for granted anything. And so, but little things from like when I used to wear my natural nails, when my nail would break, that's a part of my health. And it would deeply impact me. Like I'd be so like, oh, my nail is broken. Like, because like that's like my health. Or like when I would take out a style and like my hair is ruined because, whatever, I straightened my hair too much, or the frontal took up some edges, like, like it'd be a really big thing. Or like when I pulled my hamstring before Miss Maryland, or when my knee was like messed up during Miss Maryland week, like even when I rolled my ankle, I think I talked about this during the first CommuniTEA time. The first thing I thought about was like, if I rolled my ankle so bad and it's actually sprained and I'm not able to work out and move my body, I will be so overwhelmed with like being unhealthy that I will like be sad. Like I was sad even about the idea of like not being able to express my gratitude for the health of my body through movement and working out. Like it's a really big tear to me. And I get that everybody doesn't feel that way. Like sometimes you may be like, oh, my ankle is twisted. Like I get a couple days off from the gym, or like even like my skin breaking out. Like there's, okay, this is a hormonal acne, but like there was a season and I was going back because I do digital journaling, and specifically the digital journal that I do, which I've now done for about 3 years. And it's really, really moving and impactful to see kind of like where I was at one point in life and like where I am now. It's kind of like my thought process. So I really want to continue it. But I also like sometimes most days include a picture, even if it's just like I could take a picture, for example, of us right now during community time. And like in a year from now, we could be doing community time completely different. And I'll be like, excuse me. So sorry. I wish I could cut that out, but it's live. And I could be like, wow, I remember when I was at that apartment, or when I used to film in that way, or when I wore my hair that way. Or sometimes you look back and you're like, oh, my hair looked great like that, or man, I looked a mess, whatever it is. And I remember when I was studying for the MCAT in 2021, my skin was so bad. I was so stressed. That was the worst my skin has ever been. Like I didn't have acne growing up, and I didn't have like acne like in high school or whatever, and I didn't have acne in college. I always had super, super clear skin. And like literally during the pandemic, studying for the MCAT, I was so like emotional. I don't know what it was, if it was the hormones, if it was the stress, likely the stress, but like it was everywhere. Like my forehead, all on my cheeks and my chin, everywhere. And I just remember being like so depressed because it's like people can see that you're not healthy. Like they could literally see like you. Like I remember one time my sister came over to the house and I answered the door for her, and I was like brushing my teeth, so I was in the middle of like washing my face. So like my face was like kind of dry, because like I just washed my cleanser off, but I didn't like do my whole serums or whatever. And my face was like breaking out. And she was like, oh, poor baby. Like as soon as she opened the door, because it was the first thing that she could notice when she saw me, like, I've never seen your skin this bad before. And it was like, it's something that you're eating. And I'm like, I'm so stressed out. I wasn't healthy. Like I wasn't in a healthy space. This is a big tangent. The point is that health is a really big stream of happiness for me. When my skin is glowing, when my hair is thriving, when my nails are thriving, when my body function, everything is like working well, I am so happy. I would love to know what you guys think are one of your streams of happiness. And also, I would love for somebody to remind me why I even brought that up. Because I don't remember. I went on that big tangent and I don't even remember why I brought up that stream of happiness thing. I got so sidetracked. I'm surprised I even remembered to get back there after literally reading a letter from my 2016 self. I was like 20 years old. Like that's over 7 years ago. Wow, so crazy. Life be lifing, and it happens fast, but we're growing, we're learning more about ourselves every day. And yeah, it's just a beautiful thing. Let me read your comments. Okay, Sydney, you said that you had body aches on New Year's, girl. Oh, Thank you. Now I can remember. That whole long story was because I literally woke up and I was like, "Oh, I have COVID. Oh my gosh, I have COVID." And I was saying that I don't have health anxiety. Only time I had health anxiety was last year during this time when I also thought I had COVID, because I was studying for the MCAT. And the reason why I had health anxiety was because I was afraid that if I was any less healthy, then I wouldn't be able to properly perform when taking the MCAT. Like if I have COVID, then like I'm coughing and I'm not focused. Like you got to be 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't be 60% going in. I have one chance. Like I'm not taking this test again. Like I have to be 100%. And so if I'm sick, I may have to reschedule and then that will change everything. And if I'm sick and I take it anyway, then if my score doesn't turn out well, then I'll know it's because I'm sick, but whatever. So I was very, 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 like, I had a lot of health. And then even like when it came to studying, and I talked about this in my podcast. Um, I think it was like what I wish I would have knew before taking the MCAT 3 times, something like that. I like really talked about how like even my cramps like were so bad when I was studying for the MCAT, and it would take me out for days, and I would get health anxiety. Like I can't be sick. I need to study. I only have it so many days until my test. But it would be like, girl, you sick. You can't study, or you won't be able to really take in the information the way that you need to. So I normally don't have health anxiety, but I've had COVID at least 2 times now, and body aches and chills was the first time I ever experienced that with COVID. So first, I think when I got the vaccine, I realized like, whoo, what is this? Like, why is like I kept saying you feel the vaccine going through your body, like going through your veins. It's like you just feel it going through you. And then you got the chills, you got the body aches. Ugh, ugh, what the worst. And then when I actually got COVID, I was like, I knew I had it because I'm like, this feels exactly like when I got the vaccine, except for worse, and it's not going away. And the chills like drives me crazy. It's like nails on a chalkboard for me because I'm like I hate being cold, and it's just like you're just like cold from the inside. I don't like it. So whenever I like get the chills, I immediately am like, it's COVID. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, dang, I just leave a cruise. You know, hundreds and hundreds of people, like I probably have COVID. My mom was like a little bit sick. And then I also saw that my cousin who I was with the whole time on the cruise, she ended up saying that she was sick. So I was like, oh, I probably caught COVID on the cruise. So I spent all of yesterday in the bed. I couldn't get up. I took some ibuprofen, and then I was just praying. I was like, Lord, I can't be sick because I just got things to do. Because mind you guys, I had a very long list of things that I wanted to get done while on the cruise. Like I brought my laptop. I was going to really work and prepare for my new year of all things that I want to accomplish. And then when I realized I didn't have internet, and I realized I didn't have Wi-Fi, there was nothing that I could really even do. Like even planning on Notion, like you need Wi-Fi for Notion in order for things to save. So I did a lot of resting. I feel very well rested, but then I came home and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to work. And then I was like, I can't work because now I'm sick. So I had to double up my resting. So the good news is that I'm feeling much better today. I pushed myself to go to the gym. So we had our first workout of 2024, and we can talk about kind of like our New Year's goals. I think I'm going to talk about it more in the vlog that I'm filming today. But I think one of the main things that I mentioned on my Instagram story, and I talked about this in the vlogs as well, which I see that Destiny just said she literally just caught up with all the vlogs. And it was a lot, like literally 3 2 almost hour videos. So yeah, it's a lot. And I'm just glad to be back on schedule because yeah, that was very Oh, Trudy says that she's excited to see a new vlog every few days over the holidays. I rewatch them all the time. Your hard work was not unnoticed. Thank you so much, Trudy. I really appreciate that. Cause yeah, I was definitely, thank you so much. I was really editing. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you enjoyed it and that you watched it and that you all the things. I feel like I'm rambling. I don't know why my mind is like going off into like these little teeny spirals. I'm like, get to the point. What's the point that I was talking about? Let me read Monte's comment. They say, yes, girl, same. My skin literally suffers when I'm unhappy. I genuinely get fine lines on my forehead. It makes me feel like I'm 99 and I'm in my 20s. OMG, fine lines. That's crazy. I can see how that can really be Frustrating. Side note, does anybody else have their Christmas tree up? I'm taking mine down today. I wanted this to be down for the first community time of the year. I wanted a lot of things to happen during this community time. It didn't happen. But it's okay. I think it's okay for the tree to be up. It's only the 3rd of January. Um, but I'm taking her down after this. And I broke the tree. I literally had, you guys know that these are like lights or whatever. I think what it is because I don't unplug it, I don't turn it on and off, that it literally just, I think all the lights just like died, unfortunately. So like it's plugged up right now, but like no lights are on. And there's like a big gap. Let me just, anywho, Sydney says, I appreciate that you do long vlogs. No one makes 1 hour long videos anymore. Girl, it's because the short form content is the wave and people feel like your attendance spans they can't make it, which is what I believe. But you guys are proving everybody wrong. So thank you so much for watching the content, for engaging with it, for commenting, for liking, for all the things. So yes. Ty says, oh my gosh, Ty, that's so sweet. Thank you. Ty says, I can see you dipping into writing books or some form of public speaking. I've never seen someone who speaks and writes so beautifully and deeply like you. I'm amazed every single time. That is so sweet. Ah! I'm all in my feels today. I literally want to screenshot this for when my first book releases and my first public speaking or whatever it is. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. You're so nice to me. I'm so grateful. Let me see if there's any Ask Brelynns on my Instagram that we can close this out with, or if anybody has anything that you want some advice on in the chat. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, wait. First of all, we didn't do a spill the tea. We're already an hour in, so I was gonna end soon. But I think this is so crazy. I just saw this as soon as I got on Instagram. I was going to look at, okay, let me read it to you guys. A man attacked Las Vegas Clark County judge in court today after she denied his probation. First of all, this is the man in question. Are y'all ready for this video? Let's do it this way. Please tell me there's sound. Have you ever seen anything like this in your life? He flew across the thing. I just keep rewatching it because, like, let's read the comments. I know the comments are about to be so funny. Wait, well, first let's read. Okay. An individual became violent towards a judge after their probation request was denied. Let's read the comments. While wearing a Biggie Small shirt. Take it off. Meow. This man could have been an Olympic gold medalist. The benches are high. Why this man ain't focused on sports to clear the judge's bench is some serious hops. Did he used to run track? No way a regular person is clearing the bench that easy. This nigga leaped himself into 30 more charges with no parole. Oh no. It's the bird, it's a plane. Nah, it's the nigga that you just denied his probation. Man jumped like a cat. He never coming out of prison. I should not be laughing, but the way he jumped on look at his facial expression. That ish was premeditated. He just needed it to come out of her mouth. It was definitely premeditated. He was like, if she tell me, I promise you, it's the pure chaos for me. Him lunging through the air, the judge ducking for her life, the flagpole getting knocked over, the officer falling up from attempting to catch him, hearing them tussling. Lord, help us right now. Woo! He's also a former Jamaican skydiving Olympic gold medalist. I'm weak. I thought they were serious. That is hilarious. So, mop or flop? Mop or flop? I mean, I think it's low key. I guess it's a flop. We can't deny it. It's a flop. What's his name? Diobra Redden. Wow. Yeah, Maya said that man's not getting out soon, anytime soon. Definitely putting on extra months, years. Yeah, did he jump high in track? Every time I look at this video, his whole body, he put his whole body, like, look at the way his legs flew across as well. Like, he wasn't, like, I would have, like, maybe tried to do a little of that. Like, he was like, I'm going all the way in. Wow, that is hilarious. I'm sorry. Maya says it's so sad. And but he got kids waiting on him to get out. Oh, that's also very sad. I hope that's not the case. Okay, it's a flop. It's a flop. We don't want to see black men in jail. We definitely don't want to see violence. We don't condone violence. Fine, fine, fine. Fine, fine, fine. You know what? I will tell you guys, my Instagram stories are getting so few views. It's actually really confusing. Like, I probably haven't gotten views this low. I don't know why my Instagram hates me, but I can't. Okay, if y'all want to be stupid, y'all would just be stupid. But I'm glad we were able to have a spill the tea segment. No, Instagram is literally, I refuse to make myself care more than I need to. It's fine. It's literally fine. I literally have a community of people here who genuinely care about me and who pour into me. Like, I don't, it's okay. It's literally fine. I don't know what Instagram has going on, but they need to figure it out because that's not my problem. I can't wait. Not that I'm rushing us off the phone here, but I can't wait to read this book. Now that I didn't read it today because I slept in, I did a devotional. One thing I will mention, I really need to do my digital vision board today, especially for the vlog. Today was kind of a wash. I like slowly got up. I've been moving very slowly, but again, I also was like, he said, Lord, you gave me this sense of humor. I can't help it. What would make you say that, Maya? Um, anyway, I am looking forward to reading this book tonight. I feel like I should do some work, but since the day was already kind of a wash, maybe I'll just let the whole day be wash. And since since I don't have to go to work tomorrow, y'all, help me when I don't finish my sentences. I literally was telling this whole story and I didn't finish my sentence. So, New Year's Eve, watch night, Monday, New Year's Day, chilled, went to the movies. Tuesday, felt sick. Wednesday, here we are. Thursday, I realized I don't have to go into work tomorrow. So everything that I wanted to plan to do today, I'm just going to do tomorrow. And today, I'm going to take off this makeup. I'm going to finish reading this book. I don't know what I'm going to eat for dinner because I was supposed to go grocery shopping today and I didn't do that. But that's my business and I'm going to figure it out. We're going to wait for Maya. No, I'm just kidding. I am going to close out today's community time. Thank you so much for joining me. I am looking forward to the rest of our community times. It's only going to go up from here. Like I mentioned, I had a lot of things that I wanted to. Screenshots. I I have friends, Maya. And I also am trying I think that's funny. I'm trying not to show a lot of my cohort members on camera because everybody doesn't want to be in the vlogs. We've learned from previous seasons with our coworkers. So I don't show as many people on the vlogs unless they have previously been on it or they explicitly say that they don't mind being on the vlogs. I'm just being more cautious, but that's funny. Dang, what was I about to say before Maya interrupted me? Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, I was saying big things in store. I had things that I was going to start off the new year with a bang. We didn't start off with a bang, but we started off with love, and I appreciate that. But as we continue on, the rest of the community times are just going to get better and better and better. I know that, where was it at? Oh, who said it? Where was it at? Did I just make it up? I saw somebody's comment where they said they're so excited to hear me talking about the podcast because it's coming back. So my goal is what we're gonna do is I think I'm gonna have a new podcast come out once a month again, but at the end of every month. So it's gonna be the last day of every month, whether it be the 30th, the 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, whatever. So you can look forward to AWIP coming back, which is a work in progress. If you didn't know, I call it AWIP. AWIP is coming back at the end of the month. So we got some things cooking. I'm excited. I'm so excited. But I'm like, I need to get in my plannings, which is why I need to take advantage of these days where I don't have things for work going on. So tomorrow the grind starts, but today we rest. We've been resting. We've also been taking care of our body because health is super important, and we had a little bit of a health scare. But I think I believe that I'm healthy, so I receive that truth over my life. Oh, yay! I'm glad that you were able to make the live. Maya, you're funny. I'm glad that you were able to make this live. And I wish all of you all a great rest of your week, especially if you did return back to work this week. If you are still on break, I wish you a restful break. I wish you all the health and the wholeness and the love and the happiness. And I will see you guys on Sunday with a new vlog and then on Wednesday for our next community time. Love you all. Bye.